The narrative has traditionally been that when it comes to victims of crime and victims of violence, our funding dollars and our intervention focus has been on one type of demographic at the expense of another. We don't typically talk about people of color or men and male youth in particular as being victims. And we have a false belief that within the criminal justice system, one is either an offender or a victim, when in actuality, the vast majority of perpetrators of violence were victims themselves long before they ever hurt anyone else. And we know that hurt people, but also healed people, heal people. So how can we seize control of the narrative and provide a counter-narrative toward the end of healing and violence and victimization prevention?
The motivation behind the origin of the CCVS program was really looking at what survivors need in the state of Colorado. Our research, what it illustrated or demonstrated was there is a significant gap in services. And so the motivation behind it was to really look at how do we provide community-based victim services for survivors who are dealing with short-term and long-term trauma from being a victim. One of the most important parts to this particular legislation, House Bill 1409, was that the funding is placed in a state agency, right, that then re-administers through a third-party intermediary the funding to community. Well, that state agency is the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, which is profound because historically funding usually goes to the criminal justice agencies. But we believe that we're really dealing with public health issues, especially as it relates to trauma, PTSD, that we found that a lot of survivors are dealing with, and it's really a health-related issue and not a criminal issue at that point in time, especially if it's long-term.
It's funding that in my 18 years of providing service, I have not seen. I believe it's a new movement within the state of Colorado, and it's truly what I believe that Colorado needs.
With the CCVS program, we have kind of two different portions of it. One really speaks to direct service. So we have community partners who are really entrenched within those communities, all led by people of color that are really part of the community that they're serving. They're not parachuting in, they've been part of that fabric, so they live, shop, work, worship in the same communities that they're serving, and also have lived experience. So that really speaks to being able to connect with the people that they're serving. And the focus is really on connecting with people who've been traditionally underserved and making sure that they're getting the help and the healing that they need.
Giving the funds to those organizations who've already been doing the work, they just wasn't able to get the financial support to back them. It's been amazing to see how many lives have been changed, how many people are coming.
And then on the side of the supporting interventions, there's a lot of things that we don't know about these particular populations and why they don't access services, or what kind of services would be meaningful to them, or what are the best approaches for certain types of populations. So the supporting intervention grantees get to take a look at those types of questions to help inform what we should be doing on the ground.
The things that were really eye and heart-opening for the research team, people needed other people to help them heal. People would talk about how someone in their life was kind enough. They were the opposite of violence enough to help them start to heal.
I think what's really innovative is its ability to reach communities of color. We have seen from the data in the past year that over 90% of historically underserved people have been served by this program, which is very different from data from our other victim service providers at the state level.
The success stories always identify somebody who's had a shift in their life. And they're saying by participating in our project, they are able to make a difference and ask new questions and to be an advocate for how do we get support services in community. So going from the role of being kind of a crime survivor to go into the role of being an advocate and champion for healing.
These people feel empowered, they're feeling reconnected, they're reintegrating more fully, not just in personal relationships, but social relationships, workforce, experiences, just all the way around. These are the things that are promoting like the reduction in the re-victimization.
I would want people who have experienced victimization, whether it was once, twice, 8 times, to know that the CCVS program is their program. It's there for them. It's created by people who have been victimized, and they understand, and it's home.
This is the time, this is the place where these type of investments can transform what's happening in community. And so it's important that we finally approach this holistically, and we finally approach this as something that's of value.